this is Kestrel Raptorial, and I have here the complete collection of Pokemon base set cards. It's a set of 102 cards from the very first Pokemon trading card game series that was ever released. And the Pokemon trading card game was first released in Japan in October of 1996. But it did not come to America until January, 3 years later, in 1999. And initially, game stores didn't think the game would catch on very well, so they were initially reluctant to sell the game, sell the cards and boxes and sets, and they could not have been more wrong. It caught on like a Brushfire, which is the name of one of the first starter decks. In fact, is the deck I started with, the Charmander-based deck. I didn't really see the game until, well, I did catch the Pokemon anime series in 2000. Is it 2000? No, I did catch it in 1999. I didn't really become aware of its popularity until about a year later in 2000. And I bought the Brushfire deck and started playing and started collecting the cards. Collecting the entire base set and, well, any complete set, but particularly the base set, which apart from the trading cards that came with the little metal die-cast Jurassic Park dinosaurs, the little movie cards that came with those were the first set of cards I ever collected. I was never into sports trading cards as a kid, or Magic the Gathering had been out for a while, but I hadn't really seen that. So after the Jurassic Park set, the Pokemon base set was the first set of cards I started collecting. And collecting the complete set takes a long time. So I'm going to show you the complete set of 102 Pokemon base set cards. Here's the first page of holofoils. I think the whole set uses, well, need 6 pages of card binder sleeves. So we begin with the Pokemon holofoils. So to begin with, there's Alakazam, Blastoise, Chansey, and here is probably the most sought after card in the Pokemon base set, and one of the most highly sought after cards in the entire Pokemon trading card game, the base set holofoil Charizard. I think all of us were a little disappointed that the 4 decks that came with the base set, Overgrowth, Brushfire, Blackout, and Zap, did not come with the starter Pokemon's final forms, but I guess they would have been too easy to get if they had. Takes a very long time, unless you're very, very lucky with a booster pack opening, to get Blastoise, Venusaur, and Charizard. And this is also the Charizard that I use in my in the Brushfire deck that I keep from those days that I showed you about customizing. Oh, I added a new Flareon to the deck too. So I do keep I do keep the very first deck I built with some slight changes, and that Charizard card. Put it back in the collection for now. Clefairy Gyarados is the holofoil that came with the Overgrowth deck. Hitmonchan was the holofoil that came with the Blackout deck. The Machamp never got an unlimited release. All the Machamps from the base set that exist are first edition. And Machamp came in a 2-player starter set that was released for a very brief time. So that took a while to find too. Magneton. Ooh. And I'll show you the Gyarados close up. And Alakazam took a while to find, although really wasn't that expensive to rebuy. Okay. Okay. Mewtwo is the holofoil that came with the Zap deck. Nidoking Ninetales is the holofoil that came with the Brushfire deck. I think everyone was hoping it would be Charizard, but Ninetales is cool. Poliwrath, Raichu, Venusaur, Zapdos. I'm surprised Zapdos came out so early. The other legendary birds weren't released until the fossil set, which was the third set. And it has its own Zapdos, as well as Moltres and Articuno. So I'm not sure why the base set had Zapdos in it. We get to the non-holo rares. Beedrill, Dragonair, Dugtrio, Electabuzz, Electrode, Pidgeotto is a rare. I keep expecting it to be an uncommon, but Pidgeot wasn't released until the Jungle set, which is the second one. Arcanine is the first uncommon, and you got an Arcanine in the Brushfire deck, as well as 2 Charmeleons. Dugong, Dratini, and Farfetch'd. Okay. Growlithe, Haunter, Ivysaur, Jinx, Kadabra, Kakuna, Machoke, Magikarp, Magmar, Nidorino, Poliwhirl, Porygon, Raticate, Seal, Wartortle. And Abra starts the common cards. Well, common Pokemon. Bulbasaur, Caterpie, Charmander, my favorite Kanto starter, Diglett, Doduo, Drowsy, Ghastly, Coughing. Coughing is pretty nasty. Its attack includes a coin flip, and either heads or tails will hurt you. Unlike most. It's dangerous to pretty much everything other than Snorlax, which came out in the jungle set. Machop, Magnemite, Metapod. Nidoran, Onix, Pidgey. I like Pidgeys, even though there are much better Pidgey cards now. Because I like the Pidgeot line. They're like Ospreys. Pikachu. Yeah. The jungle release of Pikachu is far superior to the base set Pikachu. I'll show you the jungle Pikachu when we get to the jungle set. I don't know why they couldn't have just started with that, because this Pikachu is really weak. Poliwag, Ponyta, Rattata, Sandshrew. I really like Sandshrew. It's my favorite pure ground type. Apart from Sandslash, I love catching shiny Sandslashes. Squirtle. Starmie, Staryu, Tangela, Voltorb, Vulpix, Weedle. That's the end of the Pokemon. And the trainer cards. You got Clefairy Doll, Computer Search, and Devolution Spray. Or De-Evolution Spray. I always thought it was pronounced Devolution, but... Imposter Professor Oak. Item Finder. Lass. Pokemon Breeder. Pokemon Trader. Scoop Up. Super Energy Removal. I'll sometimes use Super Energy Removals. Defender. And Energy Retrieval. Now, Energy Retrieval was awesome in the base set. Again, there are better cards now, but there was almost no other way to retrieve your energy cards. So if you ran short of energy cards, discarded them, or used them up, I always liked to have at least 2 energy retrievals in the base set decks. So when I customize or modify them, I add energy retrievals. Okay. Full heal, maintenance, plus power, Pokemon Center. Pokemon Center is great to use if you have a lot of Pokemon in play and not many energy cards. If you have a lot of energy cards on your Pokemon, again, really hard to get your energy cards back when you only had the first couple sets released. If you have a lot of energy out there already in play, Pokemon Center isn't really worth using. Pokemon Flute, Pokédex, again, much better cards now, but this was useful when the first set was released. Professor Oak, I always like to include at least one. Revive, Super Potion, Bill, a draw card. I love to add 4 bills because there's almost no other draw power the decks had. At least until Pokeball came out, but you had to flip a coin, and if it came up tails, you couldn't get a Pokemon. Energy removal. I love Gust of Wind. Potion? I might use a couple super potions, but just the potions. I liked using them in the video games, but in the actual game, trading card tabletop trading card game, I liked other options more. Like Gust of Wind and Professor Oak and Bill and Energy Retrieval and Super Energy Removal. Yeah. Just seemed a bit faster. Switch. I prefer Gust of Wind to Switch. Double colorless energy. I always like to have at least 2 of those around. Depending on whether the deck uses very much, very many, has Pokemon that use very many colorless energy at all. If it doesn't, it's usually not worth it. Unless you build up a lot of big Pokemon that have huge retreat costs. So, depends. Yeah, so now we're just getting into the energy cards, and now we just get the base energy. The fighting, fire, grass, electric, psychic, and water. Water energy is card 102 out of 102. So that is the entire Pokemon base set, released all the way back in 1999. Join me again when we'll take a look at the Jungle set.